Companies have been trying to cut down on workers for as long as those workers have demanded pay and benefits. Whether it's downsizing, outsourcing, streamlining, understaffing, or automating, if there is something a business can do to get rid of workers and their salaries, you better believe they are going to do it. But this time does feel a little bit different. Recent AI advances have been mocked for not quite living up to the bold claims of their tech bro founders. But even in their current imperfect form, LLMs, general-use robots, and generative models are already replacing jobs, and they are getting better every day. So that's bad for workers, but if you're a senior corporate executive or company owner, maybe you should be asking yourself, if we automate everybody's job, who is going to buy all of your stuff? A new study out today predicts almost half of all global jobs could be affected by artificial intelligence, with 40% of all jobs around the world impacted by AI. The study found AI could replace 300 million full-time jobs, including positions in the legal and engineering fields. For instance, there are now 9 robots doing the work of more than 250 humans. I have some good news and some bad news for your theoretical company. The good news is that labor reduction systems of all varieties have already cut out millions of man-hours in America alone and made the workers who are left more efficient at their jobs. Artificial intelligence is just another tool that your company can use to get more work out of fewer staff or replace teams entirely. Even here at Little O Works Media Group, we used to have someone working part-time whose job it was to cut out images on Photoshop for our animations. Now, Adobe Suite has inbuilt AI features that can automatically remove backgrounds from any image with absolutely no human time or skill involved. We love our editors, so we gave them more work editing our history videos, but there are a lot of companies that now don't need to or don't want to employ people for these simple jobs. According to a survey of 697 companies conducted by Metro G, a research and strategic advisory firm, whatever that means, companies that did not use AI in 2023 hired 89% more agents than those who did use AI in their contact centers. For existing employees, it was even worse. When AI was added to a contact center, 36.8% of companies laid off an average of 26.1% of their employees. These alarming numbers were within just 1 year and just within call centers, which have already been hit by outsourcing, understaffing, and automation harder than most other professional services. So congratulations, your business now has reduced headcount and significantly reduced expenses. But here comes the bad news. In 1914, Henry Ford doubled the salary of his factory workers to $5 per day. The story goes he did this because he wanted all of his employees to be able to afford a Ford Model T of their own, boosting company revenue. Now, this is basically complete nonsense. In reality, Ford just wanted to reduce turnover and deny talent to up-and-coming car companies like Dodge to maintain his monopoly over the growing automobile industry. But as with every good fairy tale, there is a nugget of truth in there. If the employment rate suddenly drops as hard as it did in the call centers from the study in every company around the world, then companies will undeniably struggle with reduced revenue as people without jobs don't have the buying power they once did. Even people with jobs will cut back out of fear that they might be next. But there is a business plan that you, as a hypothetical titan of industry, might want to consider so that this isn't a problem. Make stuff exclusively for other wealthy business owners, while diverting resources away from people who have nothing to offer you that can't be done more efficiently by a machine or a cheaper worker on the other side of the world. Now, if you think that sounds a bit crazy, you should know that it's already kind of happening, and the best place to see it is in video games. Yes, those occasionally fun distractions from real life are the perfect example of the shift happening in the real world right now. According to Grandview Research, the video game industry is now bigger than the movie, music, and television industries combined, and it has honed its most profitable strategy, freemium pricing. Most people will play their games for free, but a select few, affectionately known in the industry as whales, will spend thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars on a single game to unlock in-game perks that would be almost impossible to obtain as a free user. It's important that these games still have free users, though, because without them, the whales would have nobody to show off to or PUN with their paid-for advantages. In a world where people are looking for budget-friendly forms of entertainment, The game industry has realized that the best way to turn a profit is to cater to those who have the financial means, or at the very least, the credit limit, to spend ridiculous amounts of money on a video game. The people who have the most financial means don't work for their money. They own income-producing assets. If automation does replace jobs on an even more widespread scale, that will make your ability to work less valuable and simultaneously make income-producing assets more valuable. The rate of change in AI and automation makes the future impossible to predict, but if the people investing in these technologies want to see a financial return on that investment, they are going to learn what the game industry already has. There is more money to be made by catering to other rich people, and everybody else can be kept around as entertainment. Now, if you think that sounds a bit depressing, well, welcome to this channel. But also, I should tell you that market trends already say this is happening. AI isn't going to change your world, it's just going to continue a trend that's already been happening for years now. So, it's time to learn how money works to find out how companies are adapting to a world where nobody can afford anything anymore. This week's lesson is sponsored by Brilliant. Brilliant is an educational platform designed for comprehending what you learn. It focuses on a bottom-up learning strategy, starting with the fundamentals using interactive problem-solving activities. Learning and retaining knowledge this way is shown to be 6 times more effective than traditional video lectures. The courses available on Brilliant are carefully crafted by world-class educators, scholars, and professionals from leading organizations and institutions such as MIT, Caltech, Duke, Microsoft, Google, and more. Brilliance. Growing number of programming courses are a great way to build foundations and learn real-world applications. I recently took their course on creative coding, which builds your computational problem-solving skills by writing programs that produce complex outputs. With Brilliant, learning is accessible from anywhere using a computer, smartphone, or tablet. Brilliant provides opportunities to acquire real knowledge in just a few minutes each day with its captivating and enjoyable lessons, seamlessly integrating into your schedule whenever you have time. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/moneyworks or click the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. In the 1992 movie Glengarry Glen Ross, the iconic Always Be Closing scene has Alec Baldwin's character bragging to another salesman about driving an $80,000 BMW. Adjusted for $1992 according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that would be the equivalent of just under $182,000 today. That is a very expensive automobile, to be sure, but these days, if you drive around a major city, you are likely to see dozens of cars that cost that much or more, and they probably wouldn't even stand out that much. According to company sales data and historic records, Lamborghini has sold more cars in the last 10 years alone than it did in all the rest of the company's history, combined, because there is simply a bigger market for $300,000 cars than ever before. The same general trend is true for other extreme luxury brands like Bentley, Ferrari, Patek Philippe, luxury groceries at Rowan, gym memberships that cost more than rent, hotels that make Hilton look like a Holiday Inn, and, to top it off, private jets are all now way more popular than they ever have been. One thing that often gets lost in discussions of wealth inequality is that, yes, billionaires are getting richer, but there are also far more rich people around than ever before. And it's because the value of an hour of human labor has stayed more or less stagnant, while the value of an asset and the availability of credit have skyrocketed. People who held on to even a modest portfolio over the last 4 years now have enormous fortunes. Certain individuals got incredibly lucky with good investments, and other people accessed easy credit to get absolutely jacked to the tights on leverage and ride the longest asset bull run in history. Very few people have made modern fortunes through work alone, and you might have even noticed how investing went from something that you should do to secure your retirement to something you need to do to have any quality of life at all. If robots really do take over, then it will just continue to push the value of an hour of human work down because it could. Be done by a machine instead, and it will rally the value of assets because business owners and investors will benefit from the free labor substitute. This is where people point to policy fixes like a universal basic income. If you haven't heard about this idea by now, that's impressive, but it's basically a government payment made to everybody, regardless of PERS.